About Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, 1926 to 1962, model, entertainer, artist, and ostensibly perhaps the most renowned ladies of the 20th century. Monroe has gotten a notable agent of notoriety and female excellence. She is generally viewed as quite possibly the most persuasive figures in American culture. I'm acceptable, however not a holy messenger. I do sin, yet I am not the fallen angel. I'm simply a little young lady in a major world attempting to discover somebody to adore. Her early life. Monroe was conceived, Norma Jean Mortensen, in June 1926. Her mom was Gladys Pearl Baker, née Monroe, 1902–84, her dad was obscure and she was sanctified through water as Norma Jean Baker. Her mom Gladys had a violent mental state and battled to adapt to raising her youngsters. For the initial 6 years, Marilyn was raised by temporary parents, Albert and Ida Bollender in the town of Hawthorne, California. Her mom at that point attempted to reclaim Marilyn, however she endured a psychological breakdown and Marilyn was moved between various halfway houses and encourage homes. The horrendous youth made her bashful and saved. Soon after her 16th birthday celebration, in 1942, Monroe wedded her kid, nearby neighbor Jimmy Doherty. Marilyn turned into a housewife, however the couple were not close, and Monroe reports being exhausted. In 1943, her significant other left to join the Merchant Marines to take an interest in America's war exertion. They split up not long after. To make money, Marilyn accepted a position at a neighborhood weapons processing plant in Burbank, California. It was here that Marilyn got her first large break. Photographic artist David Conover was covering the weapons processing plant to show ladies at work for the war exertion. He was struck by the excellence and photogenic nature of Norma, and he utilized her in a considerable lot of his photos. This empowered her to begin a profession as a model, and she was before long highlighted on the facade of numerous magazine covers. Vocation advancement. 1946 was a critical year for Marilyn. She separated from her young spouse and changed her name from the exhausting Norma Baker to the more alluring Marilyn Monroe, after her grandmother. She took show exercises and got her first film contract with 20th Century Fox. Her initial not many movies were relaxed, yet from these beginnings, it acquired her more noticeable parts in movies, for example, All About Eve, Niagara, and later Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire. These effective film jobs push her into the worldwide spotlight. She turned into a notorious figure of Hollywood style and design. She was an encapsulation of sexiness, magnificence, and foam and was normally photogenic. Be that as it may, she frequently found the features of acclaim hard to manage. At the point when you're celebrated, you sort of run into human instinct in a crude sort of way. It works up jealousy, acclaim does. Individuals you run into feel that, all things considered, who does she think she is, Marilyn Monroe? They feel acclaim gives them some sort of advantage to approach you and express anything to you, of any sort of nature, and it won't offend you like it's occurring to your garments, not you. Marilyn Monroe, A Life of the Actress, 1993. In 1954, she wedded baseball star Joe DiMaggio, a companion of more than 2 years. Monroe was currently one of the greatest film industry draws of Hollywood, however her agreement, haggled in 1950, left her paid not exactly different stars. Likewise, Monroe didn't wish to be pigeonholed as a blonde sensation, simply assuming straightforward parts in comedies and musicals. In a disagreement about compensation and decision of acting, she was incidentally suspended by 20th Century Fox, yet in the end, they acquiesced to a portion of Monroe's requests and gave her more significant salary. In September 1954, she featured in The 7-Year Itch, which was delivered to inescapable media interest, after an effective media stunt on Lexington Avenue, New York. In 1955, she looked for more noteworthy autonomy from Fox, and started her own film creation and started examining strategy acting. Regardless of the media frequently being cavalier of Monroe's latent capacity, her endeavors to improve acting paid off, and later movies got basic approval for her more extensive extent of acting. She was named for Golden Globe Best Actress Award for Bus Stop, 1956. In 1959, she won a Golden Globe for her job in Some Like It Hot. Her relationship with Joe DiMaggio was immediately stressed, because of his envious and controlling nature. Monroe before long sought legal separation, however the couple held a companionship regardless of the separation. Monroe started dating dramatist Arthur Miller and in 1956 wedded. To get hitched, Monroe changed over to Judaism. The marriage got critical media interest for the blend of Miller the left-wing scholarly and Monroe, the apparent imbecilic blonde. The marriage was in some cases alluded to, fairly horribly, as egghead weds hourglass. To entangle matters, Miller was under scrutiny for his affirmed socialist feelings, and media managers urged Monroe to cut off the association, however Monroe was unaffected. The FBI opened a record on her, stressed over the political perspectives on her better half. In the last part of the 1950s, and mid-1960, her well-being started to weaken. She experienced a barbiturate dependence and experienced times of sorrow. Her union with Miller separated, and she had illicit relationships with Yves Montand, Frank Sinatra, and others. During the 1960s, her weakness made shooting films testing, and creation was frequently postponed. She was as yet in extraordinary interest and frequently showed up on the title page of shiny magazines. In 1962, she was welcomed to the White House to sing for J.F. Kennedy's birthday, death and inheritance. Unfortunately, she passed on ahead of schedule from an excess of barbiturates in 1962, matured only 36. Despite the fact that Monroe developed a picture of the idiotic blonde, indeed, her picture and persona was something she took care to develop constantly, through the media and the strength of her acting. Albeit many were contemptuous at that point, she took on the groundbreaking Hollywood studio framework and, against assumptions, built up her acting vocation with her own goals. Notwithstanding, behind her certain public persona, she battled with connections and turned to a weighty medication use, which damagingly affected both her psychological and actual well-being. In one sense, Monroe experienced the American dream, ascending from secrecy to turn into a celebrated entertainer, yet it was a fantasy touched with pity, for acclaim didn't bring true serenity or satisfaction. Thanks you.